Man, I love the NBA team over here at Win Daily, or at least the NBA community that we have, because already people lining up to hear Ghost takes on tonight's NBA DFS Slate. You're tuned in to WinDailySports.com. This is all sponsored by the Sharp app. Go to sharp.link, Google Play Store, Apple App Store, all the ways you can download the Sharp app. Also, 1 week free trial still. You can use that to help you build lineups for tonight. Also for PGA, NBA going on right now, of course, and then NFL as well. Plenty of things to do. WDS.1/live week is the link to get a 1 week free trial. But yeah, we already got comments. We got people rolling in. Ghost, people are excited. I imagine a little bit more excitement for this slate than yesterday's.
Oh my gosh. Today's so much better. Yesterday was just it was already greasy to begin with, and then LeBron gets ruled out. Terrible. And it was just it was chalk city, and you have to get different by playing guys that you don't want to play.
Yeah, and we tried. Yeah.
It was worth it every time. You end up getting a guy like Steph Curry, who's the best shooter of all time, at 10% ownership on a 5-game slate.
Yeah, wow. Yeah.
Get to do that not even 9 times out of 10. I'd take that 10 times out of 10. So absolutely. You know what? It's process over anything else. And 9 times out of 10, that wins some serious money with a lineup like that.
All right, so I can tell already we're just going to Boston, Washington. No, I'm kidding. All right, so yeah, where are we starting out on this one? I think always on a big slate like this, it's more of finding values, and then we get to some of the big guys because that's where you can interchange things. But a big 10-game slate like this, it's always just finding the best matchups, finding where you can find some of that value. Where I guess we'll start there then. Like, what are the matchups that we are targeting for this slate today?
We'll go all the way to the end, actually. We're going to start with our late night hammer right off the bat.
Whoa, going to start with a late night one. Keeping the people up late. All right.
Give the people what they want there with our infamous late night hammers, of course. But the Memphis-Portland game is huge. And I am fully prepared, without a doubt, to quote the great Michael Scott, without a doubt, to be hurt again in case Portland ends up sucking on offense.
Are you going to be light on the Blazers?
I do not think that is the case tonight. If there's ever a spot where one of the best offenses in the NBA can get right, it's against the Memphis defense with no Dylan Brooks on the other side, who is out for the remainder of Memphis's road trip. So
is this a get right more? I know Portland needs to get right, but is this also like a big, Damian, this is where we get it right. Game right here. Or is it too risky to go to?
It's really risky. I don't want to put him as my top, but I would consider him one of my top targets in extremely large field. Those tournaments where there's 5 trillion people in them.
I imagine the ownership for him is going to be way down on this one.
Yeah, you're likely looking at sub 5% owned Damian Lillard, right? So
even the chat can't agree. No Dame, no Dame.
But think about it. If like that's where you have to realize that if you guys are thinking like that, so is everybody else, right? So. Yeah. And it's not to say that it's right or wrong. It's to say that if that's the way everyone's thinking, it's worth it when it comes to a guy like Damian Lillard to end up having at least one lineup with him, because at any point in time, if Damian Lillard not only
you don't want to miss out on the game where the floodgates open and everything just starts basically dropping.
That's exactly it. Because then if the floodgates do open tonight, you better believe that the next slate he's going to be much higher owned, and then it's the ship has already sailed because there's no real advantage to playing him at that point. So I will have one lineup with Damian Lillard, but I do prefer CJ McCollum, who looks like he does look like he has a firm grasp on this offense right now. And even with their blowout loss to Paul George and the Clippers the other night, Morant looks great. McCollum looks great. Excuse me. I already gave a teaser of who I like on the high end of this game. But,
yeah, we already know. Yeah, trust me, I already know.
CJ McCollum does look great, right? So what I was a little bit surprised to see, I didn't know if it was going to be sustainable. Granted, we're still only 4 to 5 games in, depending on which teams have played 4 or 5 games by now. But his volume from behind the arc has been exceptional. So getting a Memphis team that is known for their defensive system, let alone their perimeter defense, but now takes a massive hit with no Dylan Brooks. Getting double-digit 3-point attempts from CJ McCollum tonight could be really enticing. So I know we have a ton of love for the Memphis side. The reason why I know that is because our proprietary projections at WinDailySports.com absolutely love the Memphis side. And 3 of the top values on the entire slate actually all played for Memphis, beginning with Desmond Bane at 4,800. So Look, you want to talk game logs to simplify it? It's 3 straight games over 30 DK for Desmond Bane, puts him right above
Love
6x,
it.
right? But when you actually get into the analysis of things, he's really filling up the box score, contributing on the glass and being a 3-point shooter next to DeAnthony Melton, of course. So Jon Morant over 50 raw
Points.
I mean, for the case of my fantasy team, I want to say over. I have Jon Morant this year, and everyone was like, "Oh, why are you taking Ja in the 4th round?" And I was like, "Ja is going to break out."
Yeah,
season.
he's having a breakout year. It's
So
already
one of my predictions for this season was that Ja Morant doesn't just Tony's a man. Ja Morant doesn't only make the All-Star team, but Ja Morant makes an All NBA team this year. That was going to
100%.
be
100%.
That was going to be one of my hot takes, especially at the most loaded position in the modern day NBA. It's really tough to make an All NBA team playing point guard, but I think Ja does it this year, and so far he is proving me right. Even though we're only 4 games into an 82 game season, no early victory laps are permitted at all. But I'm feeling confident about.
But you could tell there was a step taken up in his game for sure.
Yeah, there really was.
There really has been.
Yeah, and when you look at what he's doing in the offseason, improving his 3-point shot, that was really I don't want to say the only thing missing from his game. You got to think this guy is still in far from the prime of his career, right? Like we're talking about guys like Giannis Antetokounmpo that it took them 4, 5, 6 years in the league to be able to become what they are now. And now we're talking about Ja Morant, where he barely has all 5 minutes in the league, even though it seems like it's a couple of years from now, right? So, seeing him already flourish in an offense that is no longer the grit and grind offense that was putting up 90 to 100 points a game and winning games 95 to 90. It's a lot of fun to watch. So seeing his price being that astronomical will certainly keep his ownership down, which is what I really like.
But he's also priced for a reason like that, I guess.
That's exactly it, right? And he does have 60+ point upside in a matchup like this against the Blazers team that consistently ranks bottom 5 in defensive efficiency and top 5 in pace of play. So that is the dream matchup. I will keep saying that every single stream, or at least the ones that I will remember to say it on. It is every time bottom 5 or bottom 10 defensive efficiency, top 5 in pace. That is the dream case scenario for NBA DFS. So keeping along the same theme with this Memphis side alongside Desmond Bane, I really do like DeAnthony Melton. This is a guy that, again, is going to be one of, if not the highest owned players on the slate. I don't care. I'll get different elsewhere. One of the top values in our model, priced at 5K, should be 6K. Right now, $1,000 savings on a guy like that is a no-brainer for me. All 3 games he's taken over and made 3 3-pointers from behind the arc. His shot is there. His assist rate is there, considering he's a secondary primary ball handler. And it really does fit well with Ja Morant in that backcourt. So I do like DeAnthony Melton. And then we're going to go with a 4-starter in this Memphis offense in Steven Adams. Seeing Steven Adams there at 5,300, that to me is one of my lower end value plays, coming right in about 10% ownership, if not a little bit lower. For GPPs, I really do like Steven Adams tonight, and I really, really love the idea of going double center with another underpriced big that has a dream of a matchup there too. So Steven Adams,
a lot of Memphis tonight.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And it's a good matchup. So that's where, like you have to say, like, for guys that are in the chat and saying, I like Bane, I like Melton, I like Ja Morant on the high side. Okay, but who's keeping pace for Portland, right? So, just the same strategy that you use in NFL, where it's not even a thought to be able to stack a quarterback and 2 wide receivers and not have someone coming on the way back, because everyone's just so used to it and that's what you need. But I don't want to say it's the exact same thing in NBA, but if you are building that way, which oftentimes my builds don't really correlate to having a game stack. I'm not really a game stacking kind of guy. But at the same time, if you're having 3 Memphis guys in your lineup tonight and you need all of them to go off, that means Portland's keeping this game close. And there's only 2 guys that are going to be able to do that. And that's Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum.
Yeah. So Memphis, Portland seems to be the game that is popping off with a lot of great value. Ja Morant, I would say, though, like, I love him as one of the top plays. Like, are you getting, I guess, where are you going in terms of the top players if it's Ja Morant? Because if we look at the top, there's a lot of 10K guys here. And of course, Ja Morant falls in that 9K right below him. So does that mean we're going with another 9K price guy, or does that leave a little bit of room for some of one of these 10K guys?
Yeah, so tonight I'm going the double stud route. I'm only using 2. I'm not using 3 because of surprisingly how many guys I like in the mid range tonight. But it's because a lot of guys are underpriced, right? So that's the way that the slate felt to me when I first looked at it, and that's the same way that I feel now, just over an hour up till lock. So there are a lot of mid range guys that I like tonight, which is not usually the case because oftentimes a lot of guys are priced up throughout the DraftKings pricing grid. But tonight it seems like a lot of guys are just mispriced. So I will be having 3, 4, if not 5 guys in that 4.5 to 7.5K range, which leads me to get 2 9K studs. So, you know what? They're not stud prices when we're talking about the Giannis Antetokounmpos at 10.8K, nearly $11,000. But getting Trey Young at $9,000 on a slate like this in a pristine matchup is highway robbery. I mean, you're getting one of the true point guards that are left in this league. We're not talking about a guy that shoot first. Trey Young is pass first. And anyone that tells you otherwise, I won't believe it. Trey Young is pass first in this offense. 30 dimes dished in his first 3 games already, including a 14 assist performance. Like, it's just seeing the way that he facilitates out there, and now he gets a backcourt of Devontae Graham and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. My gosh, like 9K for Trey Young makes absolutely no sense, honestly, like this. Put in the fact that he's a guy that can drop 40 raw points, let alone dish 10 dimes. He's going to grab a couple of rebounds, especially the long ones, with how far that New Orleans shoots now that Zion Williamson is no longer in the lineup for them while he's nursing an injury. They're taking a lot of mid-range to long-range jumpers. It means longer rebounds for guys like Trey Young, and to be able to push that pace in transition, Trey Young's one of the best to do it in the league right now. So getting him in a spot like that at 9K when he should be 10, it's a great way to solidify your builds.
Yeah, this really is, and it's sort of giving us a lot of room here, right? Because now you can get CJ Cullum in here at 7.8K. We have the values, so it is giving us a lot of room to work with, isn't it? To get both 2 guys that instead of going for all of the, like, there are a ton of 10K guys right here, so it's giving us a lot of room by going with some of these 9K.
Yeah, and there are guys in good spots. Don't get me wrong. Like, Giannis Antetokounmpo is yet again in a good spot. Minnesota struggles mightily, to say the least, in interior defense. Even with Karl-Anthony Towns, who is a I'll throw him a bone and say good individual defender. It's still Giannis. You can't stop a 6'11", 240-pound freight train coming at you in the paint. Nobody can.
It'd be hard to do. Yeah.
Let alone someone like Karl-Anthony Towns that is essentially playing one-on-one D when it comes to the paint, right? So very tough for anybody to guard Giannis. I do like Giannis on a slate like this, but again, at 30% ownership, you have to get different somewhere to take down a tournament. I'm not here to min cash. I'm not here to turn $15 in that main tournament. I think the main tournament tonight is $15. You're playing a tournament with 40,000 people in it. I'm not here to turn $15 into 25. I'm here to take down that 100 grand, right? So you can't be playing 30, 40% owned guys everyone in your lineup and expect to win 6 figures on a slate like this. It's not going to happen. So my pivot there wouldn't be too far. It would be Kevin Durant against Miami. And I wrote him up today in my article. You know, this is a game where it is going to scream, Kevin Durant, please save us. Like, if there's ever a game where Brooklyn gets exposed, it's going to be against the Miami Heat in a early season matchup where Miami now has a ton of depth. The addition of former Toronto Raptor and greatest Toronto Raptor in the history of the franchise, Kyle Lowry, paired with Jimmy Butler, paired with Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero off the bench, who, of course, you remember in our season preview show was one of my favorite picks for 6th man of the year, and I'm absolutely loving that right now at plus 3,500. But again, this Miami team is deep, and you're going to need Kevin Durant to go bonkers to win this game, right? So he's a guy that has that legitimate 70 plus DraftKings point upside on a slate where he's 2% owned. If you're going Giannis, at that point you can keep your entire same build and just hope that Kevin Durant outscores Giannis Antetokounmpo, which I not only think is possible, I think it will happen tonight, right? So that's where if you think that your build is, has a aggregate ownership that is simply too high, well, you don't need to change everything. You just need to change from Giannis to Kevin Durant, and you're dropping your total aggregate ownership by 30%, because Giannis is going to come in 30+% owned, and Kevin Durant's 2% owned right now. No one's going to pay 10.5 for KD with Giannis up there at 10.8. So I really do like Kevin Durant tonight. Domantas Sabonis is obviously in play. It's a day ending in Y. But for the actual an analytical analysis about it, look, I love what I'm seeing from Precious Achiuwa. I've been playing him virtually every single slate. And he does look really good for Nick Nurse's Toronto Raptors. But at the same time, Domantas Sabonis is just too big. He's too fast to be able to not outman a front court of OG Anunoby. Scotty Barnes is mostly playing the 3, but he's seeing some minutes at the 4. And Precious Achiuwa, Kem Birch off the bench. Boucher seems like he's in no man's land right now. He needs that explosion of a game to really win back Nick Nurse's trust. So they don't really have anybody to stop Domantas Sabonis tonight and Malcolm Brogdon on the pick and roll. So I do like him at the top of the price range as well. But I wrote up Paul George today. If you want to take a flyer on Paul George, I really do like him. It's every single slate that Kawhi Leonard is out, which is, do the math, all 82 games this season, I will consider Paul George. Absolutely. Because I don't know if there's going to be anybody that has a sheer volume that Paul George has this season.
Yeah. And we can see all that volume that is paying off. The last game was his worst one, but I think you can expect to bounce back close to 50 against 60 points. And also shout out to one of ours at Win Daily Sports. Get better, my man. We need you back here, giving us some good golf advice. So, I like all that. I'm going to stick with Trey Young and John Morant. I love what you said on those two. We're getting a little bit of 9K action. But now back to the values and a little bit of a question here that I like. Who you like for value if Davis sits?
So the Lakers rotation,
if there is any value.
Yeah, like the Lakers rotation is going to be really greasy tonight if AD sits, which I think he does. At that point, nobody's going to John Morant playing Damian Lillard because, and honestly, I can say pretty confidently, I don't think many people are going to play Trey Young either because Russell Westbrook is there at 9,300, and rightfully so. As you should be playing Russell Westbrook if Anthony Davis ends up getting ruled out, which I think he does. And Russ going up against his former franchise, like it is a good spot for him. Did go absolutely bonkers last night, of course, with LeBron sitting out. But you have to think too is that there's other players that need to get touches in this game. I'll tell you right now, I'll say confidently, if and when Anthony Davis gets ruled out for this game, Malik Monk and Russell Westbrook will be the 2 highest owned players on the entire slate. So you have to take that into consideration and thinking, okay, which combination can I have that will outscore that combo? And that to me is the key. If you're not playing Russell Westbrook, I don't want to say, it's to the point where you absolutely have to lock him in. It's not to that point. Great play, don't get me wrong. And I will be playing Russell Westbrook in a ton of lineups too, but I'm going to have some without too, because if I told you Trey Young would outscore Russell Westbrook, that shouldn't surprise you in the least, right?
Yeah, so, absolutely.
Like that's where you have to, because then you're playing guys like Bane, you're playing guys like Melton, you're playing guys like Westbrook and Monk. You have 4 players in the same lineup that likely the extremely large majority of the field is going to have. You have to get different, and now you're only limiting yourself to 4 spots to get different. And then you have to get too wild to play 1% guys to end up taking that down. So you're going to have to make some tough decisions. The Lakers rotation tonight is really going to be greasy. Seeing DeAndre Jordan out there is a possibility. Dwight Howard as well. But again, it's honestly like this. Do you really feel the need to play guys like that? The biggest mistake that you can make in NBA DFS, other than not being by your computer at lock, is chasing new news. Right, so that's kind of a tongue twister to say that really fast, but
chasing new news.
Yeah, if anyone's having a couple drinks on this wet Wednesday, say chasing new news really quick 10 times, and it's a real tongue twister. But you'll end up seeing that. You'll see that guys like Anthony Davis get ruled out. Guys like Kawhi Leonard often get ruled out after lock has passed, and that their team is playing towards these 9 to 10 p.m. starts. Right, it often comes with the West Coast teams, and rightfully so, where now all of a sudden everyone starts panicking. Yep. Everyone's like, well, Kawhi's out. Well, Anthony Davis is out. What do I have to do? Like, don't throw aside 8+ hours of research just because Anthony Davis gets ruled out. Like, you all know where the ball is going now. It's going to Russell Westbrook. Everybody knows that. So we don't have to be forcing guys like Dwight Howard and DeAndre Jordan. Are they good plays? Yeah, they're certainly in consideration. It's not. I'm not taking it to the extreme where it's like, no, you can't play these guys at all, anything like that. But it's just, don't alter your lineup completely to fit a guy like Dwight Howard or DeAndre Jordan. Like say that out loud and try not to throw up in your mouth. right? It's 2021. You can't be altering your entire lineup for a 2-for-2 swap that involves DeAndre Jordan or Dwight Howard. Now, if it involves getting Giannis on the backside or Kevin Durant on the backside or anything like that, there's an argument to be had for sure. But that doesn't mean that you should be going overboard on guys like that.
So there is a question here, just somebody saying, the model seems to be liking Rajon Rondo. I can understand why, but is that something that you're going to be taking from the model and using?
I haven't checked it since I'm on here with you guys. So I don't have it open on my computer because I'm on here with you guys.
You're a little busy.
I will be checking that after, but someone's gonna have to carry.
Like, do you hear that and does it make sense to you? Or
I mean it does, because you look at last night where he played 20 minutes, and man, this is kind of gross to consider, but Austin Reeves took over that Alex Caruso role. The problem is that he can't score. So
seems to be a problem. That would be a big problem in the NBA.
I don't know how else to say it without sounding like really mean, but it's just the truth. Like I call it.
Well, you're all mean. Reeves,
Austin Reeves. Hey! I'm north of the border. It's automatic that I'm not mean. Everyone knows that.
True. I know.
But Austin Reeves can't score. They need someone to be able to facilitate for all these guys. Like, this is what I was saying yesterday, is that they can't create their own shot. Like, these are not, Malik Monk cannot create his own shot. He hits shots when Russell Westbrook gets triple teamed on a drive and he kicks it out to him and he has 10 minutes to shoot the ball. Like, this guy can go to Starbucks, get a coffee, come back and hit 3. That's how wide open he is. Like, Austin Reeves can't do that for people. Rajon Rondo's been doing that for over a decade, right? So seeing him get 20 plus minutes last night in that game is pretty big. And, you have to think too, is that when people are mentioning Carmelo Anthony and DeAndre Jordan, Dwight Howard, and first of all, this is a no shade zone toward Carmelo Anthony, absolute legend ever. But when we're talking about Dwight Howard, we're talking about DeAndre Jordan. Like, people tend to forget that these guys are like they're almost like 50 years old. Like, these guys are old, man. Like, they can't be playing 36 minutes like they were in their prime. Like, this isn't Lob City DeAndre Jordan. This isn't Orlando Magic Dwight Howard. Like, you physically cannot, because then they're going to have to take a week off to rest their knees. Like, right, you can't be doing that, right? So Rajon Rondo can do that right now because of the way that he plays. He's not going to go and try and overdo it. He's just so silky out there that his vision of the game is just so elite to the point where he's able to facilitate. So seeing him getting 20 plus minutes tonight would not surprise me in the least. I'm sure that's what we have him projected for if he's that high. But like I said, I haven't checked it right now. But you look at last night, like, they were pretty much running Anthony Davis at the 5 all game long. DeAndre Jordan and Dwight Howard both played, I think it was like 15 to 18 minutes. I think Dwight saw like 2 or 3 minutes more than DeAndre Jordan. And now if you take Anthony Davis out of that question, who's playing the 5? Well, these guys all have to rotate in, because, again, if DeAndre Jordan wasn't playing more than 15 minutes last night and Dwight Howard wasn't playing more than 15 minutes last night, why would they do that tonight? And on the upper range, it would be 20 minutes maybe for each of them, right? So that's where Carmelo Anthony comes into play. That's where Kent Bazemore, Malik Monk comes into play. But that's also where Austin Reeves and Rajon Rondo come into play, because Russell Westbrook is not going to play 48 minutes.
Any love for Jovel?
Not against Clint Capella. I know he's been doing really well this season, but Clint Capella is one of the most underrated defenders in the paint. I'm not playing him against Clint Capella one-on-one. He can go off at any point in time. Would not surprise me to see him go off. He's started absolutely red hot out of the gate.
Yes, he has, yeah.
But that's going to be a no for me. But I will give you a pivot. A pivot. I will give you a pivot. I will give you a pet vet, I guess. I'm making up words here. But I will give you a pivot. I'm not going to leave you hanging. So in that very first game, as gross as it may seem, there is so much DFS opportunity. With both Terry Rozier and PJ Washington out for Charlotte, you better believe we are going to see a ridiculous amount of LaMelo Ball and Miles Bridges flying up and down the court tonight. And I absolutely love, this might pain you because you have the wrong player on the screen, but I absolutely love Miles Bridges tonight. Right, so everyone is expecting me to hype up LaMelo Ball and this, that. Look, don't get me wrong, he's a really good player on a slate like this, especially when we're talking about low ownership, but I
It hurt
love
me. That
Miles
hurts.
Bridges in this spot. I love Miles Bridges in this spot. And on the flip side, I'll tell you right now, I don't want to say I would be shocked because it's not like these guys are Giannis Antetokounmpo level, but like I feel pretty confident that one of Mo Bamba or Wendell Carter Jr. will be in the $100,000 willing lineup tonight, going up against an absolute.
You have any
booty.
$900 players that I can use? No.
You just call Draftkings. They gave me an extra $10K in salary.
Did you?
Okay, yeah,
good.
you fit Giannis in that lineup with
That works.
$100 left over. Yeah, they gave me the Fanduel salary, but
yeah, I got a little greedy. I'm getting a little greedy here.
I'm not playing Ja with all those Memphis guys. That's why.
Are you giving it? Okay,
yeah.
whoa.
All right, so that's
okay.
that's the
Is that the secret sauce? Is that the
Yeah.
Are you giving us the secrets now?
All right, we're giving it too much away, but one of
because we're getting really close to your lineup, aren't we?
Yeah,
we know.
a little too close for comfort, but one of Wendell Carter Jr. or Mo Bamba will go bonkers today against the Charlotte front court. That is absolute booty on both ends of the floor on the glass. So seeing them there at 6,200 and 5,700 respectively, I absolutely love both of those guys. They'll be able to stay out of foul trouble, which is often cases Mo Bamba's issue with staying on the court is that he gets into foul trouble. But Mason Plumlee is not really someone that plays overly aggressive where he's able to draw those kinds of fouls. So if that didn't tell you where I'm going, I don't know what to tell you with the fact that I love double center. There is another center that I mentioned before that is way too cheap. Yeah, those are the two guys that I really like tonight at that position.
You're going double center.
I'm going double center tonight. On a 10-game slate, it's rarely something that I ever do, but both these guys are just way too underpriced. I do,
look at you.
So seeing Joel there at 8,200, like I have a hard time paying up for a position like that when it's not a Joel Embiid or a Nikola Jokic or anything like that, because like centers, you're not going to be able to get assists. You're going to need someone to go like we predicted with Karl Anthony Towns, and he drops 35 and 14. Like you need those kinds of stat lines for them to outscore a Giannis or a Kevin Durant or a Trey Young, etc. Right? So I don't typically pay up at center unless it's for one of the top 3 big men in the entire league. So tonight it's going to be Mo Bamba and another underpriced center. If you forget who it was in our very first game of the show.
I love it. So what we'll do is stop there, because once I know we're getting that close to Ghost lineup, I know it's a good place to stop. And you could check out, again, because a lot of this is just to give you value plays and stuff, but check out the model, check out the optimizer. You know, if you are having trouble setting your lineup and just need a couple of value spots in there, or you're looking for what guy, you know, even at the top could get you some of the best projections, best value, just search up the projection model. Also go to the optimizer, all of that, windailysports.com, WDS.1/live week you can use for the 1 week free trial. And also Ghost, I imagine, is going to be in there in the Discord chatting up with everybody. So send your lineups in. A lot of our DFS experts will be in there helping you out, setting your lineup. Ghost, good stuff today, man. You absolutely crushed that one. I know you said before we went on the show that you love this slate, and I can see why. There does seem to be a couple of really nice spots that we can get even different in on this one that I really like. So we'll be back for more. Good luck tonight, everybody, on NBA action. We'll be back for more tomorrow right here at windailysports.com.